Hi, I'm Georgia Wahl, and I'm the orchid grower at Phipps Conservatory, and I'm going to talk a little about repotting orchids. Some of my tools that I use are my scissors, of course, and between plants I always sterilize them with this torch to make sure that we don't spread virus. If you don't want to have a torch at home, smaller collections, a lot of people use sterile razor blades and use a different blade for each plant for your cutting. I have the bark medium here. They don't grow in soil. This is a medium size, but it also comes in fine and large. The fine being for plants that need to stay moister longer. I also add perlite to the mix and some charcoal to freshen it and increase drainage. But everyone has a different mix, so whatever works for you is fine. The cattleyas are grown in clay pots, and I use this heavy-duty clip. They come thinner also, but you want to be sure to anchor. I hammer it on the edge, and be sure to anchor your plants because you don't want them moving around the pot. It would destroy the roots. I also use bamboo stakes to slowly work the bark in between the roots. So now we'll go on to the technique of repotting. Hi, I'm Georgia Wahl. I'm the orchid grower here at Phipps, and I'm going to show you how to repot a phalaenopsis orchid. We have some examples here of the phalaenopsis. You don't want to pot them when they're in bloom, but as soon as they finish blooming, cut off a flower stake, and then we'll get ready to do this. It's a good idea to soak the plant very well, to have it nice and moist. Makes it a little easier to get it out of the pot. If you have a lot of roots sticking out of the media, perhaps you haven't repotted in a while, you can try to work them gently back in, but if you feel like you're going to break them, then don't bother. We've got a lot of nice white healthy roots. There's a few dead roots in here, and I will clip them off and clean up the plant. We don't go to a larger size pot because orchids in general like to be pot bound. So if I was doing any orchid, I would bunch up my roots and decide what size pot that would be. And in phalaenopsis, it normally goes back into the same pot. I would use a clean pot in real life, but here I'm going to work the roots in. They can take, a little push and tug fairly well. Then I'm going to work my medium bark. The phales like to have good drainage because in nature they would be growing as an epiphyte on a branch. So even though it rains every day, they get a lot of water, it runs right off. I use my bamboo stick to work the bark down in among the roots, trying hard not to damage them. And these clear pots are nice because you can see where you're not getting the media in, and it also helps when it's time to water a plant, then you can see how moist your media is. So slowly work it in. That's about all there is to it. Now you know how to repot a phalaenopsis orchid.